Hello and welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today, we're shifting gears a little bit. Usually we are here tearing apart a business strategy or maybe looking at the latest tech trends.
Trying to figure out if AI is going to take our jobs.
Exactly. But today, we're slowing down. We're taking a look at a piece of cinema that I think offers a masterclass in something we all grapple with, whether we admit it or not: connection.
Mm-hmm.
Specifically, we're looking at the 2013 film The Lunchbox, directed by Ritesh Batra.
It is a beautiful choice, and I think it's important to say right up front to anyone listening, we aren't going to do a scene-by-scene breakdown here.
Right.
We're not going to spoil the ending. This isn't a movie review.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No spoilers here. The goal isn't to tell you what happens, but to explore why it matters. We have a stack of sources here, ranging from cinematic analysis by the British Film Institute to some really interesting psychological profiles on urban loneliness.
And they all point to one thing.
We do. This film isn't just a story, it's a blueprint.
Right. The sources call it the quiet architecture of human connection. It's about looking at how the film captures a very specific, very universal feeling.
So let's unpack that. Because usually when we talk about movies, we talk about explosions or plot twists.
Mm-hmm.
But the most striking observation from our sources is this idea that loneliness, it doesn't always arrive as a crisis.
No.
We tend to think of it as this loud, dramatic rupture in our lives. A breakup, a death, a sudden move to a new city where you don't know anyone.
That's the Hollywood version of loneliness. It's dramatic, it screams. But the sources point out that in the Lunchbox, loneliness is something much more insidious. It settles quietly inside routine.
It's not an event.
It's an environment.
That is such a heavy concept. It's not an explosion. It's just Tuesday.
Precisely. It's the friction of the everyday.
Yeah.
And to understand why that resonates so much in this film, you have to look at the context, the setting. We are in Mumbai.
Right. Post-liberalization Mumbai.
A city of millions. I mean, it is dense, it is loud, it is constantly moving. But the sources highlight this fascinating paradox of urban loneliness.
Right.
You are surrounded by people literally pressed against them on the train, yet you can be completely, utterly isolated.
It's the classic alone in a crowd scenario, but dialed up to...
211, absolutely. I was reading the notes on the setting, and it describes the city almost like a machine. It functions perfectly, but it doesn't care about the individual parts.
And that is the canvas for our two main characters. They aren't fighting a war. They aren't trying to save the world.
No. As one source puts it, they're simply moving through ordinary days.
But before we even get to them, we have to talk about the logistics. Because the whole premise of this movie rests on what is basically a statistical impossibility.
Oh, yeah.
I was looking at the data in our notes on the Mumbai Dabawalas. This delivery system is legendary.
It is absolute Six Sigma level stuff. For those who don't know, Dabawalas are the lunchbox delivery men. They pick up hot lunches from homes in the morning.
And deliver them to office workers by lunchtime. And we aren't talking about a few dozen deliveries.
No.
We are talking about 200,000 lunchboxes every single day. Harvard Business School actually did a case study on them.
I remember that. They use this complex coding system of colors and numbers painted on the tins, handled by workers who are often illiterate.
And they claim a mistake rate of 1 in 6 million.
1 in 6 million. That is just a staggering number.
That number stuck with me. So when the plot kicks off with a lunchbox going to the wrong desk, it's not just an oops, wrong turn.
Not at all. In the context of Mumbai, it's basically a miracle. Or a curse, depending on how you look at it.
Right. It's a glitch in the matrix.
And that technical context is crucial because it tells the audience immediately, fate is intervening here. This isn't just a rom-com mix-up. It's a 1 in 6 million event that breaks the rules of the city.
So, fate intervenes, and the box lands on the desk of Sajan Fernandez. Let's introduce him, because the way the sources describe him is really interesting.
Okay.
It's less about his job and more about his emotional state.
Sajan he's a fascinating study in what the notes call aging masculinity and emotional withdrawal. He is a man who lives by habit.
Completely. Measured, predictable.
Contained. You know that feeling when you see someone on public transit who is just completely checked out? That's Sajan.
Yeah. The sources mention he's nearing retirement, but it feels more like he's just running out the clock.
That's a good way to put it. He has built a wall of routine around himself. It protects him, sure, but it also ensures nothing new can get in.
He's safe, but he's numb.
There's a note here about aggressive solitude. He's a widower, and he's not just lonely, he's actively pushing the world away. He's the guy who won't return the ball if it rolls into his yard.
And on the other side of the city, we have Isla. And her description in the notes It just hit me hard. It says she lives by effort.
Yes. While Sajan is withdrawing, Isla is trying. She's cooking carefully. She's waiting quietly. She's just hoping to be noticed.
The analysis brings up this concept of domestic invisibility in modern marriages.
Domestic invisibility. That is a powerful phrase.
It sounds almost ghostly.
It is. It's the sensation of occupying space in a home, doing the labor of care, the cooking, the managing, but feeling like a ghost to the person you share that space with.
So you have Sejan, who is trying to be invisible to the world, and Isla, who is terrified that she already is.
Exactly. And the crucial point the source material makes is that neither of them is searching for a transformation. They aren't looking for an affair.
They aren't looking to blow up their lives.
Not at all. They are just trying to get through the day.
Until the mistake happens. Isla sends this special lunchbox to her husband, hoping to win back his attention through his stomach. She packs this incredible meal. The descriptions made me starving.
But the lunchbox doesn't go to her husband.
It goes to Sejan.
And here is where it gets really interesting. The sources argue that this inciting incident isn't just a plot device to get two people to meet. It's a mechanism to explore the difference between romance and attention.
What do you mean by that? Because usually in a romantic comedy, a mix-up leads to a meet cute.
Right. They bump into each other, papers fly everywhere, eyes lock.
Yeah.
But here, they don't meet. They don't see each other. The lunchbox is just a vessel. It travels across the city without them.
It's an empty box that comes back. And then it goes out full again.
Right. And when Isla realizes the mistake, because her husband doesn't mention the food, but the box comes back scraped clean, she sends a note the next day.
And Sejan replies.
And the film shifts. It stops being about food and starts being about attention. The mere fact that someone, somewhere, is reacting to what you did.
We have to pause on the food for a second, though, because there is that hilarious, painful moment where Sejan, who's been eating this terrible restaurant food for years,
Oh, absolutely.
he tastes Isla's cooking for the first time. It's sensory overload for him.
But he doesn't write a poem immediately.
No, he just wipes the tin clean.
Right. The licking of the fingers is the highest compliment. And that's the hook. Before he cares about her soul, he cares about her spices. It's a very primal entry point for a relationship.
There's a great note in the source material about analog intimacy versus digital detachment.
Yes. Think about it. We live in a world of instant digital communication. Texts, emails, likes. It's fast, but it's often shallow.
Detached.
It's detached. The lunchbox and the letters they start tucking inside the chapatis represent something else.
You know, the notes make a big deal about this analog intimacy, and I usually roll my eyes at that digital is bad, paper is good trope. But here it actually serves a mechanical purpose.
Which is?
It creates a delay.
That's a great distinction. It's not just that it's paper, it's that you have to wait 24 hours for a reply.
Right. In a text chain, if you don't reply in 5 minutes, it's anxiety. Here, the silence between the letters allows the relationship to breathe. There's time to think.
It's the difference between a reaction and a reflection. So John isn't just reacting to a ping, he's digesting her words along with the food. It forces a different kind of connection.
And you can't delete a handwritten letter.
Yeah.
You have to hold it. It has weight.
It smells like curry. It has stains on the paper.
And this brings us to the emotional progression. They start writing to each other, but they aren't writing love poems. They're writing about routine.
This is what I find most fascinating. The source notes on the psychology of routine are key here. Usually we think of routine as the enemy of excitement.
Sure.
But for Sejan and Isla, the letters become a new routine that disrupts the numbness of their old routine.
The sources have this phrase: two people not searching for transformation, finding a space where they can be honest because they are strangers.
That's the key, because they are strangers. Sejan can tell Isla things he can't tell his colleagues. Isla can tell Sejan things she can't tell her husband.
The anonymity provides safety.
It's like the classic, well, it's that stranger on a train phenomenon, but in slow motion. You can confess anything to the person in the seat next to you because you'll never see them again.
Precisely. And notice how the film handles this exchange. The sources emphasize understatement as an emotional device.
Yes. There are no dramatic confrontations. No one runs through the rain to stop a wedding.
No, it's just reading a letter on the bus or smiling while chopping vegetables.
And that restraint is what makes it feel so real. It respects the intelligence of the audience. It understands that in real life, emotional shifts are internal.
They happen in the quiet moments.
Exactly.
Speaking of quiet moments, let's talk about how the film actually shows this. Because the visual style, the cinematic technique, is a huge part of why this story lands.
Mm.
If we look at the notes from the BFI and the review by Peter Bradshaw in The Guardian, they talk a lot about realism.
Yeah, the BFI analysis points out something really cool about the camera work here. They use what's called static framing.
Which, for anyone who isn't a film buff, that just means the camera doesn't move,
Yeah.
it just stares.
It just stares, exactly. Think about the scenes of Saijan eating dinner. The camera is locked off, he's eating, the fan is spinning, and we are just stuck in the box with him.
There's no swoosh to save us from the boredom. It makes you feel that claustrophobia. It forces you to look at the peeling paint on the walls and the loneliness on his face. If the camera were moving, it would feel like an action movie. By sitting still, it feels like a prison.
That's it. It mirrors their stuck lives. It reinforces their emotional isolation. And then there is the lighting. The sources call it naturalistic lighting.
It's not glossy. It's often dim.
It looks like a real Mumbai apartment in the evening. It grounds the story. It tells us this is happening in the real world, not a movie world.
And we have to talk about the sound, or again, the lack of it.
The minimalist background score. The director, Ritesh Batra, uses silence as a tool.
And in a noisy city like Mumbai, silence is rare.
Exactly. When the music drops out and all you hear is the ceiling fan or the traffic outside, you are forced to sit with the character's thoughts.
You feel the weight of what isn't being said.
It seems like everything in this movie, the script, the camera, the sound, is designed to make us pay attention to the small things.
Which brings us back to the central theme. Right. As the letters continue, the relationship deepens. The lunchbox stops being a mistake and it becomes a lifeline.
And this raises the core question found in our source material. Does routine protect us or isolate us?
That's the question Sejan and Isla have to answer. Because for a long time, that routine was Sejan's armor.
It was survival. But the letters introduce a crack in that armor. And the scary thing about letting light in is that you suddenly see how dark the room was.
That's the danger, isn't it? Hope is dangerous. There's a note here about the vulnerability of anticipation.
Ooh, I like that.
Once Sejan starts waiting for the lunchbox, he has something to lose.
That is the turning point. It's the moment they wake up. The film observes the human need to be acknowledged above all else. It's not about whether they end up together.
Really? Because I think a lot of people go into a movie like this wanting to know if they end up together. We're conditioned for that.
Of course. But the stakes here are different. The stakes are, will they continue to sleepwalk through their lives or will they wake up?
It's about being seen, even if it's just by one other person, through a letter in a metal box.
Yes. Think about Isla. She goes from waiting quietly to realizing she deserves to be heard. And think about Sajan. He goes from aging withdrawal to remembering what it feels like to anticipate something.
To look forward to lunch.
Such a small thing.
But in the context of his life, it's revolutionary.
It is, and that's why the mistake is so profound. It breaks the pattern. It forces them to look at their lives and say, is this enough?
You know, we promised no spoilers, so we aren't going to talk about the train or the meeting or how it all wraps up. But I think it's fair to say, based on the sources, that the film doesn't give you a neat little bow.
No, it doesn't. And that frustrates some people. But if we go back to the source, the quiet architecture of human connection, it notes that the film doesn't offer a moral conclusion.
It doesn't tell you to follow your heart, and everything will be perfect.
Which feels honest, incredibly honest. Because life is messy, connection is messy. Sometimes you connect with someone and it changes your life, even if you never see them again.
Sometimes the connection is fleeting, but the impact is permanent.
It's the impact that matters.
Yeah.
Exactly. The film leaves us with this lingering idea. It's not about the destination. It's about the fact that for a brief period, amidst millions of people in Mumbai, amidst all that noise and chaos,
Two people found a quiet frequency where they could just be.
So what does this all mean for us? For the listener driving to work or cooking dinner or just sitting in their own routine?
I think it challenges us to look at our own routines. Are they protecting us or are they isolating us?
And it challenges us to value the small connections.
It's easy to chase the big moments, the promotions, the vacations, the milestones.
But life is mostly made of small moments. It's made of lunchboxes.
And letters. And shared silences.
I love that thought. It's a reminder that we don't need a grand crisis to find connection. We just need to be open to it.
Even if it arrives by mistake.
Especially if it arrives by mistake. Those are often the most honest ones.
We're going to leave it there. We hope this deep dive gave you a new lens to view the lunchbox. Or maybe just a new lens to view your own daily grind.
It's a film that asks for your patience, but it rewards you with something very rare, a reflection of real life.